I'm Eric Russell, and this is Under the Wig with Alvion and Daisy Stockton. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hello, Eric. How are you?
Thank you for having me here tonight.
No, thank you for having us.
So let's start with, how did y'all pick your names? How did you go about that?
I guess I'll go first.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, when I was in high school, and still to this day, my very best friend, who's actually transgender now, his given name is Alvin. So in high school, we played the little high school game and whatever. If we ever grew up and had kids, we would name our kids after each other. So his name is Alvin, and I was going to name my first daughter Alvion. So being that I probably won't have any daughters, I went on ahead and chose Alvion for myself. So that's where I got the name.
And Miss Daisy?
Funny story. When I started drag a year and a half ago, I didn't have a car at the time, and everyone was driving me around, drive me to this, drive me to that. And they said jokingly in the car one day, well, we're driving Miss Daisy to the show. And I said, you think you're funny? There you have it. So that's what I went with.
I like that. How did you both get started in doing drag? What got you into it?
Well, long story short, in high school, there was a competition. The mascot of my school was Justice. I went to John Marshall. And when you got to the 12th grade, you got to compete for Mr. and Miss Justice. Well, when I got to the 12th grade, we got a new principal who was very holy and thou and Christian and didn't believe in male pageants. So she cut out the male portion of the pageant, but I always wanted to be on stage and always wanted to compete in pageants and that kind of thing. So the night after my prom, my friends and I came here to Godfrey's and actually saw a drag show, which included Victoria Snow and Chantel Spalding and various other girls. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is my place. So, my friends dared me to do it. And my first time on stage, I competed in a competition and I actually won. And 9 years later, the rest is history.
Very cool. Miss Daisy?
For me, I went to VCU and had the honor of working with Queer Action at VCU and several of their organizations to put on an event called the VCU Drag Ball. And as soon as I got involved, one year I said, well, I'd like to set the example for our amateurs, so I got in it with Tiffany Devereaux, Sharon Husband's help, and from there on off, it just took off from there.
Very cool. Now, what do you have going here at Godfrey's? You've got some events coming up. There's stuff in the community in here. What's going on?
Well, right now our main focus is to assist Natasha Carrington with all of the Fun for a Cause things that's coming up. Be there next Tuesday, March the 27th, Renaissance Convention Center, Fun for a Cause. If you need more information, you can visit www.funforacause.com. But right now we're focusing on getting our productions together for that. We also have a fabulous Sunday night cabaret show called Carrie Blick's Cabaret.
Right.
And also, Daisy and I have started a new venture every Thursday night. It's called Godfrey's Drag Idol. And it's, as Daisy said, an avenue for the newcomers or the amateurs to get their start. And, it'll contain workshops because oftentimes we have a lot of competitions for amateurs throughout the city. And we always critique them and tell them things, but we never follow up and assist them into making the correct changes to be better.
Okay.
So with this new format, it will be set up as that. There will be an opportunity for us to have a workshop with the contestants before the contest, get to teach them and critique them, and then they can come back, and it's almost like a nurturing kind of thing.
Yeah, I had the experience of running Gigi's boot camp while Gigi was here, and they came to me with this opportunity to kind of foster a new night here at Godfrey's and to bring in all these young girls and boys, and to really focus on growth, and that's really important. And I think that that's something that Gigi really focused in on, is bringing in different entertainers to teach us, hair, makeup, costumes. We had an opportunity to work with different people and to see how different styles of drag work, how the history of drag works, and for us to learn and to come into our own. And I think it'll be really good to see that translated into a more open kind of, to be able to let that affect more people. And I think this is a really great opportunity for young entertainers.
Because you did Gigi's boot camp. What did you take away from that?
The biggest thing that I think that I took from boot camp was being able to build my self-confidence as an entertainer. We were entertaining every other week over a period of 14 weeks. And I think that just being able to entertain on a regular basis and being able to work with, Blue Devereaux on makeup and all these entertainers that have so much to bring to the table really helped strengthen my entertainment. And I grew as an entertainer. Stage fright was a big thing for me. Alvion can tell you, she was there. I used to shake on the stage, and I know it was awful. But I think now, you just go out there and do your thing, and that was probably my biggest champion moment of boot camp, was conquering stage fright.
Now, you hosted that along with Gigi and helped judge it.
That is correct.
What have you seen in terms of growth for Daisy here?
As she said, when she first started, her stage presence was very timid, very shy, very nervous, and she kind of grew into her own person. You know, oftentimes in this craft and in this industry, the younger entertainers kind of grasp on to an entertainer that they like and their style and the way that they do things, and she started to mimic that of other people. And you know, over the years and the year and the process of her growing, she's kind of grown into her own illusion and her own character. So I think that's one of the main things that we wanted those entertainers to take from Gigi's boot camp, was the courage and the will to be their own person.
Who was your favorite entertainer when you first started out?
Locally or like nationally? Or
Both.
Locally, my first entertainer when I first started was Victoria Snow, of course, one of Richmond's legends. And nationally, my favorite entertainer still to this date is Naisha Dupree.
Okay. Who was yours?
My favorite national entertainer is Chelsea Pearl. You know, I've had the opportunity of actually speaking to Chelsea because she comes here for Godfrey's Drag Brunch. And she's absolutely an amazing person, amazing entertainer, a real inspiration. And then locally, I think that it's hard to hone in on one. I always tell the same story. You know, my first time ever going to a drag club, seeing drag, I'll never forget. It was the first show, and it was Sharon Husbands, Tiffany Devereaux, and Alvion. And I will never forget just the numbers they did and seeing drag for the first time. And I would say that those three are absolutely my favorite entertainers in Richmond.
Now, when you're not entertaining here at Godfrey's, I know you're at VCU, and remind me again what you were studying. You were doing...
I am studying political science and social work, with a specialty in queer studies and minority studies.
What made you get into that field of study?
You know, I grew up in a really conservative area, and since coming to VCU and seeing how liberal the community is and how, you know, it was just a different atmosphere. And I think that that's more an atmosphere that I'd like to see than maybe where I grew up. Because being gay where I was from was more difficult than maybe it should have been. And I feel like those kinds of issues are something that I would like to fight for, and you know, things like that in the gay community. So that's my big thing.
You're both socially involved with Fun for a Cause and things. What message do you want to send out to anybody out there that's going to be watching this, whether they do drag, whether they're gay, straight, or just what message would you want to send to them?
Well, as I said in my Style Weekly interview that I had a couple months ago, my main thing, and I tell people all the time, whether you're Christian, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Catholic, no matter what you are, what style of life you choose for yourself, stop judging people. I think that's our main problem. There's so much judging amongst people that, you know, it creates those barriers and those divisions. Why does it matter if I'm gay? Why does it matter if I'm straight? Why does it matter if you're black? Why does it matter if I'm white? Why does that matter? We're all people. We all have 2 legs and 2 arms. Well, most of us, you know, by the grace of God, have 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes. You get the gist. So who's to say, you know, what's right and what's wrong, and why are you judging? Just accept people for who they are, and, you know, move on. And I think with Fun for a Cause, it's one of those things that's attempting to bridge the gap between all of those communities and all those different walks of life and all those styles of people, because we've had over 700 people in attendance, and I can guarantee you that all of them weren't gay, and all of them weren't black, and all of them weren't white, and all of them weren't straight, and all of them weren't, you know, Catholic. So that's one of the things, and I think that this year's motto is one community stronger, and it's basically because where we are today as a community from where we were yesterday as a community, we are stronger. You know, they're better bonds, and even being able to sit here next to Daisy is a stronger move for me, because about 6 months ago I hated her. So, you know, one community stronger is, you know, I you know, live up to that, and I really think that is what I want people to do. To stop judging and enjoy one another and appreciate the people. Like Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, and just take it for that. Stop judging people.
If people want to find out more about Alvion or Daisy, can they find you on Facebook, Twitter? How can they get a hold of you to find out more?
The best way to get a hold of me is on Facebook. Please don't call my personal line. I'm tired of all the personal phone calls. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. The best way to get a hold of me is Facebook. My name on Facebook is Alvion Davenport. So make sure you look me up.
And the same for me, Daisy Stockton. Find me on Facebook.
And also on her fantastic YouTube channel, which has thousands of videos.
Yeah, we're almost at 1,000 videos.
Very
so.
cool, very cool. And if people want to find out more about what's going on at Godfrey's, they can look where?
Also on Facebook. There's Godfrey's has 2 Facebooks. There's Godfrey's VA and also Godfrey's Drag Brunch.
Okay, very cool. Thank you for being here. This has been
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're the best. Thank you, Eric.
Well, this has been Under the Wig with Alvion and Daisy Stockton. You never know whose wig I might get under next, so tune in next time.
There's
See
no
ya.
under this one.